Yes, my friend, my neighbor, welcome for a walk, and John Ryder. Today is 14th of February 2021. We are going to record once a while, whether we have a talk worthwhile sharing with others, we don't know. But there is no pressure. We'll just have friendly walk. Our discussion is also friendly, usually, correct? all the time, come on. We never fight. Yeah, philosophers do not fight, correct?
No.
Yeah.
Well, some are trained to be rude.
Yeah, do you know any philosopher whose language as rude as mine?
Yours isn't rude.
Huh?
Your language is not rude.
Really? Yeah, I don't use obscenities, but...
No, even this, for example, analytic philosophers, they're trained, and I got some of this training myself, that when we're in a debate and you say something I disagree with, I don't just say, I disagree with you. I would say, that's absurd.
Oh, I do say that too. I do. Oh my gosh.
To be rude like a
philosopher. Yeah, I do. I tell my opponent, I say, when I say absurd, I don't mean that you yourself is absurd. But what you are arguing or asserting is absurd. I use that word pretty.
I try not to do that.
Absurd. In Turkish, is saçma.
Yeah.
Saçma. And what about the language? Very strong language. I see Nietzsche. Nietzsche's language is powerful, especially in his ethics and his condemnation of religious immorality.
Well, his opinions are quite strong and critical.
Yeah.
His language is fairly sophisticated and eloquent, but his positions are strong and critical.
Yes. Beautiful day. Can you imagine? This is the winter in Tucson, and I want you to see me too. Let me see. How can I show myself? You see, this is oh gosh, I have this hanging on my neck like a yoke, huh? Yeah, this is, you see, this is it. You know, my wife has been, right now she's in California, and I need to push this button. And she's in California. It has been a few days, and she will be there about for 10 days. I feel on one side emptiness, and one side is a sense of freedom that I don't need to follow any schedule, sleep schedule or thing.
Right.
And I see that dishes are piling up on the counter. These are the changes I see. You know, when there is another person, you kind of accommodate each other. And also, I think in years I haven't done, maybe in decades. I don't remember a previous incident that I did something criminal. I did last night at almost 11 o'clock, before 11 o'clock. I went to the market, I shopped, and I bought 4 cheese pizza. This is criminal confession because my wife is a dietitian. She is a diabetes educator, by the way.
She never sees this.
Oh my gosh, now here it is. I put it in the oven, and then I was going to eat 2 slices. I end up, it was not huge one, but it is 4 kind of service things, supposedly. Right. And I got half of it. And I felt guilty, but at the same time, it was such a delicious guilt.
Yes, I know the feeling.
I know the feeling. What about you? Your wife is in Moscow.
Petersburg.
Petersburg.
Yeah, but that's been a year now.
Yeah.
Not a year.
You have been really alone for a long time. Right. She's teaching there?
Yes, at the university.
Still?
Yes. In fact, her new semester begins tomorrow.
And what she's teaching?
Oh, some courses in Russian literature and also in hermeneutics.
Okay.
some things like some film studies, things like this.
Great.
But I'll talk to her in a little while because today is Valentine's Day, so since we can't be together...
When is Valentine's Day?
Today.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I have no clue about this. Then I should take the opportunity, send something to my wife, do something about it, correct?
You would be making some points.
I should pick some credits.
That's right.
I should not miss it.
But she's going to call me in about an hour or so, and we'll have a drink.
Okay.
This is why I'm walking earlier today than I usually would. So
Oh, this is beautiful. Yeah, sometimes this is my neighbor. He's not as anarchist as I am. I call him sometimes late at 10 p.m. I said, "Are you ready for a walk?" But he's very regular, it seems.
I'm a creature of habit.
Oh, that means he's like Immanuel Kant.
Yes. In some ways.
Yeah, according to I don't know many stories of philosophers, but his story still I remember that he was so regular. Tell us how he was regular.
Well, the story is that he was so consistent in his behavior that the women in Königsberg they would say they could set their clocks by when Herr Professor Kant walked by. They would know exactly
the
what
time of the day, which location of the time he is. Oh my God, yes. And according to another story that he never got out from his town.
He never left Königsberg.
No, I
think that's true.
Wow.
He never traveled.
Yeah. But if he was a person like at midnight would go for a walk.
And confuse all the people in town.
Beautiful.
Königsberg, you know, is now the Russian city of Kaliningrad.
Yeah.
And I've been there several times, but once I was there, I went to there's a Kant museum there, and it's very interesting.
For those who are curious, what is Immanuel Kant's contribution to philosophical enterprise?
Basically revolutionized philosophy in the late 18th century, but his most prominent book is the Critique of Pure Reason.
Pure Reason, yeah.
Well, he has three critiques. That's called the first critique, the Critique of Pure Reason.
Yeah. Was he not rationalist? Was he an empiricist?
Well, he sort of combined the two.
Synthesized.
Yeah, that's better. He synthesized the two, yes.
Yeah, he didn't criticize reason, but pure reason, baby. Pure reason. Yeah, well, critique of pure reason.
You thought that you couldn't really understand anything about the experienced world through pure reason, but then you couldn't understand anything about the experienced world simply through sensory experience either.
Yeah,
so
you need filter and observation and relationship. I like some of the things that I like about ideas of philosophers. They are very encapsulated. What is it? Encapsulated, or they are well defined, not very ambiguous, not long.
Well, one hopes, yeah.
Yeah, one of them, let's say, Occam's razor, a rule of thumb. Or I like David Hume's rules of association. He comes up with a very interesting observation, or in thinking. He says, we associate things or concepts according to three rules. One is according to their proximity, the other according to cause and effect, another according to their similarity or lack of it. Basically, if you say something, let's say I say B with double E, what comes to your mind?
An insect.
Honey.
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 Yeah.
Honey is cause and effect association. Because of that, you relate to honey. What else?
What else about a bee?
Yeah, when you say bee.
Insect.
Huh?
Insect.
Insect. Of course, similarity, it is a genus of insect. If you remember, for example, ant, it is similarity.
Right.
And if you remember flower, it is proximity. Therefore, it's very interesting. I think it is so true. And I think it is also a reflection of the world we live in. It is about matter, energy, and space. Matter, space, and energy and time. And this association is done according to the matter, the form of the matter. Similarity is about matter, form of matter. Proximity is about space. Cause and effect is really about time, which David Hume basically reduced cause effect, argued that we cannot be sure that something causing each other.
It's not a question of being sure. Hume said that we don't experience cause and effect, so that we really can't. We can posit just as a practical matter a causal relation, which we do all the time, but we can't know it because we can't experience cause and effect. We can only experience what he called constant conjunction.
Yes,
of things.
Conjunction.
Conjunction.
Something following other so many times.
Right, but we don't experience cause and effect because he understood experience in terms of kind of simple sensory impression.
Oh, I see. Yeah, but some claim that he borrowed the idea of his critique of cause and effect from Ghazali. Al-Ghazali.
I doubt that he knew Ghazali. But
I don't know, maybe Ghazali was influential that time. No, Ghazali didn't like philosophers himself.
Right, but I doubt that Hume knew anything about
He was like
Ghazali.
Saint Augustine of Sunnis.
No, I understand.
Yeah. Okay, that is fascinating. And we see also our language, the grammatical components of our language is really reflection of the world, time and space, and then energy and matter. These are the components of our language. Matter is reflected in terms of nouns, correct? And
You can have nouns that aren't.
energy is reflected in terms of verbs, and space in terms of in, on, stuff, you know, this, and also what else?
I don't.
Really?
That doesn't seem right to me.
It is.
Because
Come on.
you can have nouns that aren't about material things, for example.
Say it.
An idea.
An idea, it
a
is,
noun, not a material.
well, when I say material, it is,
To stuff for
well, yeah. When we say noun, gentlemen, I'm talking about noun that exists, either material or from terminology of materialist, function of
But then you
matter.
beg the question. Because
Breathe in and out. You don't need to answer me immediately.
it doesn't mean much to say that nouns depict objects and then you define nouns in terms of matter. You're just arguing in a circle that way. So
No, when I say
have lots of
matter and noun
there are
referring
nouns
to
that
matter and everything about adjectives related to matter.
No,
Yeah,
sorry. It's overtly not true.
really?
Because we have nouns that don't depict material things. They depict non-material things.
Well, non-material thing like color, you think, correct? Color is a material
That's
thing.
not a noun. Well, you can say blueness, I suppose, right? Color is a little trickier, but I like an idea. Kant's idea of causation is not a material thing. The idea is not a material thing. But it's a noun. I can talk about his idea. That's a noun.
But you know, we could relate the idea as a function of a material thing. Idea cannot come into existence without brain.
That's different. That X is a cause of Y doesn't mean X and Y are the same thing. It's true that there wouldn't be ideas if they weren't material things, but it doesn't make ideas material things.
That's good.
So,
Yeah.
So nouns, since nouns, you know, can depict ideas, they're not,
Yeah,
they're
for
not necessarily
example,
about material things.
For example, the computer, human brain generates codes and pass these codes into a computer body, correct, hardware, and that code himself is not material,
Right.
but it is the order of the matter, material
related
things.
to each other in many ways,
Yeah,
right? But they're
the
not
order.
identical.
But very interesting. It is a mystery for me. It's really very intriguing. What is the order information? It is related strictly to the matter, but order of zeros and ones, the order of the circuit that open and closes, that particular ordering, the knowledge, that information itself, that is separate from the matter. Yeah, that's very interesting.
It's not unusual. It's, in fact, much of what we do is not material. Much
Yeah.
of what
You
encompasses
seem,
our lives.
do you like Hegel?
I do.
Okay.
In some ways. Not all of Hegel. But
And how could you manage to become an atheist with this great mind?
what great mind?
No, you are not, for example, a cliche materialist.
No.
And you can believe you appreciate the existence of ideas
Of course.
and beyond matter. And
But that has nothing to do with theological concepts. Or it doesn't necessarily have anything to do with it.
yeah, I do agree with you. Forget about theology. Just philosophically, recently I read an article. Someone is now claiming that the whole universe might have consciousness, everything in the universe. Of course, he's a little bit playing with the definition of consciousness, but he claims
very
that
old
it
ideas,
permeates in the whole universe.
I don't know of any good reason to think that. But it's not a new idea.
Well, it is a huge mystery, our existence.
Well, there are a lot of mysteries.
I ask my students this question, especially when it comes to epistemology. One of the questions I usually ask, because it is very interesting. I ask them, which one of these most difficult to prove? Put them in order of ease, from easy one to the most difficult
That's
one.
an interesting question.
Yeah, and three things I write, and I write them in different options, in different orders, so that I will not guide them.
Right.
And then I say person, God, external world, person, external world, God, external world, person, God, God, person, external world.
Those are
That's
Kant's regulative ideas. He called them the regulative ideas.
Oh,
The ideas of pure reason.
yeah.
Self,
This
self
one,
the world, and God. God, the self, and the world.
you think so? What
Those
about
were
you?
his regulative ideas. He identified those as...
What about
fields
you?
of pure-
Think which one is easy to prove?
What-
Easiest to prove, from easiest to the most difficult. To
what?
prove,
Prove their existence? Or
yeah, to prove their existence to yourself.
Well, I don't even know what it means to prove the existence of the self
Means
or
you-
the world, because here we are. You know, what? I don't know what proof you need. God is a different question.
Therefore, according to you, is the order is person, external world, and God.
Well, no, I don't think we need to be talking about proving the self or the world at all.
Means
What's the
let me
proof?
use another word, not proof, that you become sure about its existence.
But I don't even understand that. How can I not be sure of the existence of myself in the world? It's not even an issue.
Really?
Whereas the existence of God is
Come
a
on,
different question.
come on. You know about Descartes' questioning
But
about
that was fake.
his sensory
But that was
information.
fake. He wasn't serious.
But
That was a gimmick.
I know he was playing the game to lay out his foundation.
Right.
But at the same time, I think it is very reasonable to think that.
No, I don't. If you posit a certain conception of the human being, of the self, like a soul, for example, Then there's a question of what evidence there
No,
is.
your ontological existence. We are sure about that. I accept it. I think it is not. I am not sure whether you exist, but you could be figment of my imagination. You could be a virtual reality in my mind.
Yeah, I don't think that's even a plausible
proposition. What if you are born in a sophisticated environment that they put while you were born, you were a very different shape and you are a very different creature. They put a helmet on your head or a chip in your brain, and they are giving you common sensory information about this fake external world.
We can play what-if games all day long, but that doesn't mean I need to demonstrate anything, because there's no plausibility to the...
There is plausibility, let me tell you.
It's not impossible.
Come on, honestly there is plausibility. Here it is. I remember I had a dream. I don't want to go to detail of that dream. And then I woke up, I was in dormitory, my friends were around me, I told them about that dream.
Surprised, huh?
Yeah, and then what happened? I woke up from that dream too.
Right.
I thought in my dream, I thought I was in real world. And I had a reaction to that, emotional reaction to my dream.
Right.
It felt very real. And then I woke up, I was excitedly telling my friends what I saw in my dream.
Right.
And then I thought that was real world. I woke up. But
that's the opposite situation. That's, being in a dream and thinking it's real. Of course, that's what a dream is.
Yeah.
We believe it.
What about this? How can I be sure that it's not the dream?
Because there are characteristics of this that aren't the case of dreams.
No, in dream, but you think, you don't doubt it.
But we're not in a dream.
But how do you know? Until you wake up, you don't know it.
No, because you're not doing, in dreams you're typically not doing
Listen, in my second dream, I woke up, I said I was in a real world and I was talking about my dream. This only once happened to me.
Right.
And maybe this is another dream.
Let me ask you a different question, slightly different question. So go at it a different way.
I don't want to tire you. Anytime you want to stop. But when you stop, please stop in front of a beautiful house. There are flowers in the background. I like what is the name of these? Bougainvillea? Which one? Bougainvillea.
This is Bougainvillea.
Bougainvillea, okay.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very nice flower.
Even winter times.
Would you look your wife in the face and seriously say to her, "Dear, I'm not sure you exist. I don't have sufficient reason to think you exist"?
Sometimes I would like to doubt.
That's a different question. That's a different question. That's a question of purchase. But so what I'm trying to say is, from a lived point of view, from a lived position, we do not doubt, and we have no good reason to doubt, that the other exists.
Because, listen...
But that's important philosophically.
No,
that's not just a trivial matter.
It is not. Because the reason, gentlemen, there are some people, they do not doubt certain superstitions, fake things.
We can't be wrong.
How
we can
do
be
you?
wrong about
this.
I'm not saying we can't, but it doesn't make sense to say we're wrong anything.
No, I give a chance because I know that I can be deceived about my experience, not only sensory experience, about whole perception.
Right.
And therefore, when I think about the possibility, this virtual reality, how create commonsensical information that make it so real, your sensory visual perception is synchronized with your tactile perception, that it makes it so real.
Yeah, but
you
is
could
a different question from wondering about whether we can know that what's real. If you say,
is it argument from ignorance? Is the fallacy argument from ignorance?
No, the fallacy is you're not taking a long enough temporal slice. If you take at a moment, how do I know I'm not dreaming my view of that? Well, if you just stop, have a freeze frame, and just in a moment ask me, well, you're seeing these trees, how do you know you're not dreaming? Well, just then I don't know. But that's not how we live. We don't live in discrete moments. We live across time and an extended experience and so on. And in an extended experience and across time, we can make those distinctions.
No.
The same as in
you don't have extended experience that you existed yesterday in code. All this information just put in your mind.
No. We have no reason to think that. That's how I know. We have no reason to think.
You have no reason? I have a lot of
We
reasons.
have no reason to think that you didn't. That yesterday you were.
Now we are almost able. We are very close to make it scientifically. Yeah, we are able right now to create.
You have no reason. Look, I used to play this game with my students just to piss them
off. I love it.
You know, I say, how do you know? How do you know that the entire world didn't come into existence 5 minutes ago?
Exactly.
Complete with memories and
beautiful. Yeah.
And of course, you know.
But when you ask this question, you yourself do not believe that question.
Of course not, because there's no reason to believe it.
Okay. Okay. You say, well, otherwise, yeah. Okay. You say, I believe. I have more reason to believe that this real world and stuff. You believe it. Good.
But it's not a question of more or less reason. There's simply no reason to think the other. So it's not a question that requires evidence and proof. There's simply no reason for it.
No, come on.
Well,
there is sufficient. There is some doubt.
It's no. There's
there
no
is
doubt.
doubt.
It's not a logical impossibility. That's what you're confusing logically possible with doubtable. It is logically possible that could happen.
And physically also even possible.
Huh?
Physically possible too.
Okay, but I mean, it's
if not, logically possible.
Not an impossibility.
Huh.
Put it that way.
Beautiful.
It's not an impossibility.
Okay.
But that by itself is not reason to think that it's.
Of course. I do agree. I have, but it's still there is over there little doubt that could be. Correct. Well, you said there is possibility.
It's impossible. That doesn't mean I have any doubt about it.
Interesting. You are a different creature.
Different from what?
From me.
I don't think you doubt it. You doubt it for the purposes of playing conceptual games, but not for real.
I have little doubt. Maybe 1 out of a million, but still maybe higher chance than lottery, winning the lottery. And by the way, I don't play lottery. No, please don't play lottery. Don't be stupid. Mathematically challenged.
Unless you want to donate money to something, which is, you know, lottery, just think of yourself as donating.
It is backward taxation. Yep. MashaAllah. These are beautiful plants.
Very nice here.
Yeah. And do you notice that when I was child, when I was raised, the street was filled with children's voice and noise and balls and stuff. Yeah. But there's no life on the street, as if it is deserted, the end of the world.
Right.
Only once in a while cars go around, that's it. They are basically...
rarely see children even... I don't think there are many children who live around here. Why is that?
Unbelievable. No, there are children. What happened? These video games and TVs and stuff, computers, basically imprison children. They don't have any of those games and social skills. Unbelievable.
They don't play on the street anymore.
Yeah, it is. It's just gone with the wind.
It is a noticeable difference.
Yeah, my kids got addicted when they were in middle school to video games. I raised them through, if you want anything, you need to make a good argument for that since childhood. Raise them with argument. And then therefore I said, we need to sit down and discuss the benefits and the harms of these things. And then we sat down, we discussed, they came into agreement that the harm of that video games was much more than the benefit on their thumbs and reflexes, like a bird, you know, pecking a grain. That's it. I said, I didn't undermine it. I said, that's important skills throughout history, but now that is not that important as much as your reflective thinking, and therefore they came into agreement, but I let them to decide for themselves. It didn't take long, about 1 or 2 weeks later, they packed it up, they sold it.
Really?
Yeah, yeah, on their own. And yeah, it was impressive because it was addiction. And that time I had a ethical problem, whether instead of selling it because it is up to another person,
Right.
or just breaking it.
Right.
But they sold it. There was an argument for that too. They will buy it anyway, stuff. But anyway, if it was up to me, I would break it.
I remember having an interesting experience with nieces and nephews of mine. Let me just stop for a second. So we were visiting, and they were cousins, so they didn't see each other all that much. So we were all visiting, and the two of them from two different families, so they're two cousins. They were each sitting on a sofa.
Mm-hmm.
This is about 30 years ago, maybe.
Yep.
And so they were, I don't know how old, 10 years old, maybe 12 years old, because they're in their about 40, early 40s now. So they were sitting on the sofa, and each of them was playing with then it was a Game Boy. Remember that?
Yeah, Game Boy. I remember.
So
Wow.
they each had a Game Boy, and I said to them, being the annoying uncle, I said, "What's the matter with you two? You never see each other. Why aren't you playing together? What are you doing sitting there, each of you on your Game Boy?" And they looked at me, and they looked at each other, and they said, "Okay." And they plugged their Game Boys into each other.
Oh. that's
So they played mediated by the technology.
I can't believe
and I thought,
this.
oh my God, the world has changed.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
You know, when first time these video games very popular, it was like an epidemic, maybe pandemic in the world. And my reaction was, I wrote even that time an article. I said, these violent video games, I have no evidence, but most likely they are sponsored or secretly funded by Pentagon. That was my inference. The reason is I knew that Pentagon, the military, is spending a lot of money per recruit. It was about more than $40,000. I don't know the price now. And
Each recruit.
yeah, for each recruit, because they hire a recruiter, it takes time
Right.
until convince
They rent in various
the son of a poor family to go to a war of the rich. And therefore I said this would be the best recruiting material. In early age, they prime their mind to violence, they glorify violence, and when they go, they look at the military as something to have fun, killing, basically,
or
becoming
get an
sensitive.
education or something that's sold to them in a lot of
Exactly. Also educate them about shooting, about rifles, all sorts of things. And then later, years later, I realized indeed the military was supporting some of these. Yani Medal of Honor. Yeah, and I was right.
I think the games that are the most tend to be militarized games of some sort.
It's
I think
unbelievable.
it's still true, right?
It's violence
Violence,
all
yeah.
over. A child, a beautiful child, instead of becoming filled with love and care about humanity, about people, basically is trained, learned through game to kill people.
Yes. Although, I mean, I don't know the psychology of it.
Well, psychology
I
is
mean,
always...
I grew up playing, we used to call it cops and robbers, or cowboys and Indians was the way American boys played in, 60, 70 years ago.
Yeah.
But, we grew up sort of normal people, more or less.
Yeah, of course, maybe many are not very influenced, and later they get out of the influence, but some sensitive percentage, I think,
It seemed there's likely to be some.
their psyche is played with. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to stop. Thank you very much, by the way. You are very comfortable in talking to a camera. Some people are not. My wife doesn't want to talk to camera.
Yeah.
I wish I could have recording of our conversation with her.
Yeah.
But she's just the opposite
Record
of
the
me.
one where you tell her you're not sure she exists. And I'd like to see that one.
Okay, with John we have other talks, some of them at my home while having breakfast or tea, and sometimes walking. I'm going to also post this. Take care.